Hi, my name is Zach Simmons, and this is my Chicago Bears Journal. So the Bears got a win against the Giants at home, and that's huge. I said my last video that was a must-win, not necessarily for playoff hopes, even though still it was a must-win for playoff hopes. But let's be honest, playoffs will not be in our future this year. I will be shocked saying that we have Dallas, Minnesota, Green Bay, and Kansas City coming up. I would expect it would be a miracle if the Bears can make playoffs. But it was a must-win when it came to our morale. It was a must-win for Ryan Pace and for Matt Nagy. That if we lost that game against the Giants team, which, let's be honest, is not that good, their offense really isn't clicking. The only piece that's working is Saquon Barkley. Even then, he's been banged up this season. The defense is okay. It's not spectacular by any means. So if we lost to that team, and that's pretty humiliating. Humiliating enough that we could probably say Matt Nagy's probably going to be gone after something like that. The next few weeks, though, that's not really the case. We're definitely going up some very strong matchups. So if we end up losing those matchups, even against Dallas, I will be shocked to see Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace get fired. As I said before, that if Nagy is fired, Pace will probably get fired as well. I don't see them keeping Pace any longer if they decide to let Nagy go. But when it comes down to things for this week, we're going against the Lions tomorrow and Thanksgiving. This Lions team, we beat them a couple weeks ago. They're not that good of a team. Their offense was very, very good under Matthew Stafford. I mean, very, very good under Matthew Stafford. Stafford was having a career year. It's too bad it's too bad he got hurt. Even though he's a rival, it's hard to see someone go down. Definitely someone like Matthew Stafford. The guy's the toughest quarterback in the league. He fought with a broken back last year as well. So it's hard to see that kind of a guy go down. But when it comes to this game against us, we do not have to worry about Matthew Stafford because he is still out with back fractures. In fact, right now, I believe he's already been ruled out right now. No, he was doubtful earlier this week. But there's a new development. We'll know more tomorrow. But what it sounds like is Jeff Driscoll is dealing with a hamstring injury. And this is a good enough injury to sideline him against the Bears tomorrow morning. What I've seen is that David Blough, rookie quarterback out of Purdue, will be the starting quarterback. He is expected to start against the Bears. So what can we expect from David Blough? So I just got done watching a couple of videos on him. Given these are just highlights, this isn't going to tell us exactly every single thing about him. This is just kind of the top points about him. The guy has monster arm strength. When you have Kenny Galladay, when you have Marvin Jones, when you have Marvin Hall, three quick receivers, this is the kind of quarterback that you want. David Blough has a great arm. Expect him to use that arm against us. He definitely is kind of a mixture between Driscoll and Stafford. Stafford's more of your pocket passer. He can launch it. He doesn't necessarily have a cannon for an arm, but he can still throw a pretty good amount of distance. Driscoll is more of your scrambler. He's more of the guy that will take off and run on you. We saw that against the Bears a few weeks back. Blough is not as quick as Driscoll, but that's kind of what you get from him. You have a guy who can stay in the pocket, who can move around a little bit. Definitely cannon for an arm, but he's not afraid to run. He's not quick, but he can definitely run for a good amount of distance. He's very athletic. So what do the Bears need to worry about him? Well, what the Bears have to worry about is, once again, his arm strength. He will launch the ball down the field. Now, this can either be a really good thing for us, or this is really going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us in the sense that these receivers can get separation. We're going to have to play some man coverage against these guys. And let's be honest, Fuller and Amukamara, they're not that good when it comes to man coverage. So they're going to get beat. It comes down to, can Clint Dixon and A. Jackson be able to pick up that coverage? so he can definitely torch us. But the good thing is his accuracy is not pinpoint. It's pretty good. It's definitely not perfect. If you're watching any of his highlights, you will see that he can launch it, but he can't necessarily put the ball right where it needs to be. It's just a little bit off. That much. I mean, his accuracy is still better than Trubisky's, but it's enough that maybe, just maybe, Eddie Jackson get a little piece of that ball. But the big question is his reads. Is he going to throw into tight coverage? How is his decision making? That's going to be crucial against the Bears, because he can definitely, these receivers will get some separation from Amut Kamara and from Fuller. So it comes down to, can Blough put the ball where it needs to be? Will he throw it to the wide open guy? Will he throw it to the guy who's triple covered? That's the main question we have with Blough. It's not his talent. I think he is, looking at his talent, he's by far a backup quarterback. He might, I think his talent level is enough that maybe he can get a shot as a starter. Maybe not a household name, maybe not a franchise quarterback, but someone that can at least be known as a bridge quarterback, someone who can come in for a year or two, step in, and lead the team. But the big question is his mentality. Does he have the mentality to be a starting quarterback in this league? And that comes down against the Bears defense is pretty good. Not as good as we were last year. Last year we were the top defense in the league, and now we're a top 10 defense. So we can sit down and say, well, the Bears defense isn't really that good anymore. But let's be honest, we're still a top 10 defense. We're going to cause problems for David Blough. David Blough. We will be causing some problems for him. So with the line how it is, with Khalil Mack getting a little rejuvenated, seeing how the defense was against the Rams a couple weeks back, the defense has finally gotten back to its sweet spot. They're playing like a top 5 defense now. So can this rookie quarterback, who had a pretty decent career in Purdue, can he be able to get some stuff done when he has a bunch of pressure in his face? It's going to be very interesting to see. But just because we're going against a third-string quarterback does not mean that we had this game put away. This guy is definitely a backup quarterback in my opinion, from what I've seen from him. Given I've only seen highlights from the guy, I've never actually watched down and I never sat down and watched him play in Purdue. But from what I've seen from him, he definitely has the capability to be a good backup in this league, not a third string, but a second string in this league. And like what I said, I think his talent level is enough that he could potentially be a starter, not a franchise quarterback per se, but someone who can come and fill a role. Case Keenum, Ryan Fitzpatrick's done that in his entire career. Mike Glennon's been a couple stints. We all know that pretty well. But a quarterback that will be known as one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. I think that's what you're going to see from David Blough. So anyway, can the Bears beat the Lions? Absolutely. Jeff Driscoll almost beat us. And I will admit, I think Driscoll is a better quarterback than Blough, just because Driscoll can move around. He can do a lot of things against our defense, and we saw that before. Blough is really going to we really have to see how his mentality is. Can he throw a good pass to Galladay, a good pass to Marvin Jones? Because a lot of his throws, maybe he just got lucky. Maybe his placement was just a little bit off. That if he was going against an NFL caliber defense, it may have been picked off or at least tipped. We'll see that more tomorrow morning. See, okay, how good is this David Blough guy? Is he actually decent, or is this defense going to have a field day against him? It'll be interesting to see, but he is a rookie quarterback, so expect some hassles. But also, given we haven't been able to game plan too much for him, and we game plan a little bit against him, probably. I would assume so, since Driscoll's been limited. I would hope so, since Driscoll's been limited. It would be interesting to see exactly what we have planned for David Blough. But enough about David Blough. Let's take a look at the Bears. What can the Bears do? Where it all comes down to offense, to be honest. And we can talk about David Blough. We can say, well, the defense needs to expect this from him. To be honest, we really don't know. We've never seen him in the Lions system. We've never seen him really play in the NFL before. This is his first time playing against NFL starters. So instead of saying, well, we could expect this, we can expect that, let's see what we can do. What can the Bears do? Well, it all starts down with offense. It all starts down with offense. Trubisky has got to be on point. He's had 2 games now, both in the wins against Detroit and against the Giants, that his third quarter was fantastic. He just needs to get the rest of the game that way. So we need to start out fresh. And what Nagy needs to do is set up a good game plan, a good set of plays that Trubisky is comfortable with. Right now, he hasn't done that. That's what he did last year. Last year, he did very, very good at that. That the opening drive was very well scripted. You saw a lot of the same elements. Did it become predictable? Maybe. I would say it did. But it got Trubisky's confidence up. It got him in the zone. It kind of got his wheels turning. This year, you don't see that. I don't know if it's just because that Nagy's trying to be more or less predictable. That very well could be, but it's hurting his quarterback, and a lot of that's why Trubisky's not really clicking. He's not giving that momentum to start up. So that's what we need to do against Detroit. Instead of doing that, because we did that very well in this in a 2-minute drill, we did that very well coming out at halftime. We need to do that coming out of the game. The first drive, have a well-scripted drive, a good set of plays that Trubisky is comfortable with that he can execute. But one of the big things, now I will say, it's terrible to see guys go down. We lost Taylor Gabriel due to a concussion. It's sad to see him down, but at the same time, it's probably best for the team that he's sitting on the sidelines. Don't mean any disrespect to him, but the guy has dropped a lot of passes. He's dropped more passes than he's caught. Or at least it seems that way. So now with him off the field, now we have Javon Wims. Expect Riley Ridley to play. I'll be shocked if he is not active. We'll know more a little bit as we get closer to the game tomorrow. If Ridley would be playing, but I would expect with Gabriel out that we will be having Riley Ridley. Definitely with Ben Broniker out. We're definitely in our reserves for tight end, so expect all the receivers we can possibly have on that field. So I think with having them on the field, having Ridley, having Wims on the field a little bit more, you're going to see less drops. And these are 2 receivers I think can be the best receivers on our team, even with Allen Robinson. Ridley has some of the best route running you're going to see on this team. Wims has incredible hands. Why we haven't thrown him the ball, I really don't know. But he's been open. Trubisky doesn't look to him. The only time he looked at him is when he threw that awful pick last week. Otherwise, don't know why we haven't looked his way. He's a great receiver. One of the most trustworthy receivers. In fact, I would say that I trust him, even though I'm not the quarterback for the Bears. But I would say that I trust him a little bit more than Taylor Gabriel, than Anthony Miller. So why he's not getting the ball, I really don't know. But you're going to see him a lot more. But what you're probably going to see with Taylor Gabriel out, just because you see more Wims, just because you see more Ridley, does not mean they're going to get the ball. It might mean that Robinson will get the ball more. This is not a good defense. Robinson will be open. Maybe you can see a lot more staring down Robinson because Trubisky hasn't built this chemistry with Wims and Ridley yet this season. That very well could be. If that's the case, we're going to be in some trouble. When Trubisky stares down his receiver, it's never that good. Given Robinson's usually open, but this also means Trubisky's going to be putting the ball into some really tight spots, putting the ball where it really shouldn't be. There might be some turnovers because Taylor Gabriel is out. Even though Gabriel wasn't really that much of a factor so far this season, it's more of a negative factor. Because of his loss, we might actually be pushed a bit more backwards because the ball is going to be looking more towards Robinson. But this will be interesting. I'm expecting the Bears win here. Yes, we had an ugly win against them before, but I think looking at it with David Blough, even if he's a decent backup, this is his first career NFL start. I'm not expecting him to just tear it apart. He could, but I'm not expecting it. So I'm expecting the defense to show him who's boss. And I'm also expecting the offense then, if we can just play like we did in the third quarter against them before, if we can do that throughout the entire game, we will win by a landslide. We're not really asking for much. Trubisky can turn on the third quarter. He just needs to do that for the rest of the game. It's not like he starts hot and then cools off. He starts mediocre. Sometimes ice cold, sometimes just a little warm. But then after halftime, just spikes up, and then the game's won. If he can just spike that up at the beginning, who knows exactly what's going to happen for the rest of the game. In fact, if you take a look at last year, you'll see exactly what's going to happen. The offense will be on point, will score enough points, and will actually score points, and we should be able to get the win. So that's what I'm expecting against Detroit. I'm expecting a win. Not necessarily just because the third string quarterback's in, we definitely won the game. It's because we beat them before, given we barely beat them before. But I think going another tier down at quarterback, I said Driscoll's a better quarterback over Blough. That's going to be a huge factor. This defense is getting hotter, especially with Kwiatkowski in there. He's played fantastic. Defense is hotter. The offense is starting to click a little bit more with Gabriel out. He's either going to get a lot better or it's going to get a tad bit worse. There's definitely a higher ceiling with Gabriel out, so we'll see exactly what happens. But that's why I have the Bears should win this game. If we don't win this game, it's not that big of an issue. It's not like Nagy's going to get fired after this game. If there's a Giants game, sure, he's definitely on the hot seat at that point. He still may be on the hot seat, but not near as hot as it could be. If we lose this game, it's fine. We don't need to win this game for morale's sake. Playoff hopes are pretty much shot unless we can somehow beat Green Bay, Minnesota, Dallas, and Kansas City. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Is it possible? Anything's possible in the NFL. But we'll see exactly what happens. But Bears should win tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Hope you guys have a really good Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your time with family and friends. And hope you have a good rest of your day.